everybody, and welcome. It's me, it's Sportcat.
The boss jock has entered the building. You are listening to the Sportcat Show.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages. You have the one, the only Sportcat. I am here with you for the next 2 hours. Almost said on the thin line rock station. No. I'm on Radio X, and I am in Dare Talk Media. I'm on the Yergs Network.
Viva la Sportcat. Sportcat Uberales. Viva la Sportcat.
Yeah.
Go Sportcat. Fans everywhere love the Sportcat.
Well, they can't help it. That was sent to me on speakpipe.com/Sportcat by an anonymous listener. So thank you. Oh, that's great. Wendell, hello. Chris, hello. How are you? Everybody come over, join the chat. Please remember when you're here to hit that subscribe button, the thumbs up button, and that little bell so that you know when we're going live. So when we came on the air, we had some breaking news. We'll get to that in just a second. First off, it is 1:07 Eastern Standard Time. And we want to wish a good morning to Denver, Los Angeles, Anchorage, Honolulu, Toronto. It's an evening there. Good morning to London, to Perth, into Sydney. So welcome. And Chris says, after not being able to interact yesterday, I have to really make sure people like and subscribe over here to get the full experience. Yes, you do. I actually lost a subscriber yesterday. I don't know. I must have done something wrong. But shocker. I'm always doing something wrong. I am not the, what's the saying? I'm not the most politically correct person. So, all right. Well, here we go. We're going to start off, as we always do, with a little history lesson. So today is August 6th. In 1497, Italian explorer John Cabot returns to Bristol from North America, Newfoundland. Good Lord. Becoming the first European to do so since the Vikings. 1661, the Treaty of The Hague is signed, whereby the Dutch Republic sells Holland, which was Brazil, to Portugal for 63 tons of gold. It seems like a lot of money. Well, maybe it wasn't back then, so. Wendell says he has shared this out multiple times, but no one ever comes. They just don't like me, Wendell. 1890, murderer William Kimmler becomes the first person executed by electric chair at the Auburn prison in New York. I didn't know they had Sparky back in 1890. 1945, an atomic bomb is dropped on the Japanese city of Hiroshima by U.S. B-29 superfortress, the Enola Gay. 1965, U.S. President Lyndon B. Johnson signs the Voting Act prohibiting voting discrimination against minorities. 1991, Tim Berners-Lee releases files describing his idea for the World Wide Web and debuts www as a publicly available service on the intranet. 1991, wow. That seems like yesterday. Wow. It seems like the 80s. 1926, Don Juan, starring John Barrymore, is released by Warner Brothers, the first feature-length film to utilize the Vitaphone sound on disc system with a synchronized musical score and sound effects. 1996, the American punk rock band, the Ramones, performs for the last time at the Palace in Hollywood, California. And in 1948, Dutch super athlete Fanny Blankers Cohen wins the 200 meter in 24.4 seconds at the London Olympics, becoming the first woman to claim 3 individual track and field gold medals at a game, having already won the 180 meter hurdles. Congratulations to her. It was just yesterday. Let's see here. We'll check on this site and see. There's a picture of old Sparky. I seriously did not know that they had old Sparky back that far. Chris says, I couldn't imagine an 1890 electric chair would be comfortable at all. No, looking at it, Chris, it kind of looks like a government military chair, to be honest with you. Chris says, the guy started the internet and they have found a way to phase out having to type www to completely steal that guy's contribution. I thought, and well, let's see. I thought, what's his name? The vice president, Al Gore. Didn't he invent the internet? Isn't that what the people were saying? I don't know. 1928, Andy Warhol is born. He's an American artist. He's born Andrew Warhol in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. He's a leading figure in the pop arts movement of the 1960s. His best known works include the Campbell soup cans and Marilyn Deitch silkscreen paintings. He was also a filmmaker, creating underground films such as Chelsea Girl. He died in 1987 after a gallbladder surgery and dictated that his estate be used to create the Andy Warhol Foundation for the Visual Arts. I read an article, or maybe I didn't read it, but I heard it. They're saying that these foundations aren't necessarily all good. I haven't done any homework, but they're saying some of them are like used for nefarious things, and the foundations some are over 100 years old with still billions of dollars in them. We talked about in 1945, the atomic bomb is dropped from the Enola Gay, killing more than 80,000 people. It was dubbed Little Boy, was dropped at 8:15 a.m. and destroyed 5 square miles of the city. World War II was over in Europe. Japan refused to surrender. President Harry S. Truman approved the use of the atomic bomb in an attempt to bring the war to a quick end rather than risk higher casualty rates by invading the country. The typical American way. We just bomb the shit out of it. 2000, the alpha dog abduction occurs. I have no idea what this is. The alpha dog kidnapping is committed in Santa Barbara, California. Benjamin Markowitz hung out with the, quote, wrong crowd, and his brother Nicholas would pay for it. Local gang leader Jesse James Hollywood worked with Benjamin to sell drugs in the area. After Benjamin backed out, Hollywood wanted revenge. Hollywood, along with other gang members, kidnapped Nicholas as he walked down the street. For the next few days, Nicholas was moved from house to house, playing video games with his captors, smoking and drinking with them. Fearing a kidnapping charge, Hollywood tried to hire someone to kill Nicholas. On August 9th, a hitman shot Nicholas 9 times, killing him. Wow, they don't sound like good people. 2004, Centonia, yeah, I guess that's right. A 16-year-old victim of child sex trafficking shoots and kills 43-year-old Johnny Allen, who she claimed offered her $150 to have sex with him. After meeting Allen in the parking lot at the Sonic drive-thru, she returned with him to his house. They never engaged in sexual intercourse, but Brown shot him in the back of the head, stole his money and 2 guns, and fled in his truck. She was sentenced to life in prison for first-degree murder in November of 2004, but Governor Bill Haslam, which is Tennessee governor, commuted her sentence to 15 years, and she was released in 2019. Huh, okay. I hadn't heard that one. So, all right, let's see. We'll move ahead to what is today. There's a national day for everything. Chris says, calling it little boy was disrespectful to people you just vaporized. It's like telling them, could have been worse. I guess it's true. Could have had big boy. What was the name of the next one they dropped? It wasn't little boy. Was it big boy? They had a separate name for it. So I guess in the next few days we'll find out the name of it. All right. Today is National Social Engineering Day, National Fresh Breath Day, National Root Beer Float Day. I don't like root beer floats. And it's National Wiggle Your Toes Day. Okay, I've never heard of Wiggle Your Toes Day. And Wendell, is that something you do? Is you celebrate Wiggle Your Toes Day? It's Regatta Day, Balloons to Heaven Day, Bolivia Independence Day, celebrations of San Salvador, Farm Worker Appreciation Day. And I understand that our president may have had a bad quote on that. Fiesta de San Salvador, Fiesta Patronalis holiday, it's Hiroshima Day. It was probably a good idea to remember them after we just bombed them all. Jamaican Independence Day, National Fresh Breath Day, National Psychiatric Technician Appreciation Day. What does a psychiatric technician do? They tell you you're going to be all right. The doctor will be here in a minute. And it's Sailor Moon Day. And I must admit, I have no idea who the hell Sailor Moon is. And I really don't care. So is that wrong? Is that wrong? Did I offend somebody? I hope not, but okay. All right. So as we were coming, hold on, let me make sure I didn't push the wrong stupid button here. As we were coming live, this was breaking. 5 soldiers shot at Fort Stewart in Georgia. The shooter is in custody. Gunfire erupted at the Army base on Wednesday morning, prompting the base commander to lock down facilities in the wake of an active shooter incident. All right, so said in the statement that 5 soldiers were shot. They were treated on scene and transported to a hospital for further treatment. The shooter was apprehended, and there is no longer an active threat to the community, according to Fort Stewart leaders. Most of the lockdown has been lifted, and the Army base is 40 miles southwest of Savannah. So, all right, well, I'm sure there'll be lots of news on that over the next couple hours. Senator Warnock is heartbroken in monitoring the situation. From where? From your mansion? What are you going to turn? You turned on the TV like the rest of us. Shut up. Good Lord. Politicians annoy me. All right. The Walking Dead actor Kelly Mack has passed away at age 33. She had a 7-month battle with cancer. She was known as The Walking Dead and Rescue 911. She battled glioma of the central nervous system, which is a cancerous tumor, her family said in an Instagram post on Tuesday. Sharing a photo of Kelly, her sister wrote, "It is with incredible sadness that we are announcing the passing of our dear Kelly. Such a bright, fervent light has transitioned to the beyond, where we all eventually must go." Kelly passed peacefully on Saturday evening with her loving mother, Kristen, and steadfast Aunt Karen present. Kelly has already come to many of the loved ones in the form of various butterflies. She will be missed by so many to depths that words cannot describe. Kelly's Caring Bridge link in her bio includes the 2-page formal announcement with information on her upcoming life celebration in Ohio, August 16th. She would want you all to know how much she loves you, the post concluded, and as her sister, I want you all to know how brave and tough SOB she was, especially when she decided to make the leap to be reunited with God. I'm so effing proud of her. All right. Kelly shared her cancer diagnosis with her social media followers on January 3rd, where she revealed that she had suffered persistent lower back pain for a month since September. A few weeks later, I had a neuropathic itching in my right quad, and then shooting pains in my legs and back began, which resulted in me having to sleep in a recliner for a month because lying down was too painful. On Thanksgiving Eve, I had emergency MRIs done at the hospital, which revealed an abnormal mass in my spinal cord. Fast forward to now, I have been diagnosed with diffuse midline glioma, an extremely rare type of astrocytoma cancer. Due to the biopsy surgery on my spinal cord, I have lost the use of my right leg and most of the use of my left leg, so I now get around with a walker and a wheelchair. determined and know that this will eventually be a short chapter in my long book, she poignantly added at the time. The positivity, love, and prayers that are being sent my way already is overwhelming, and I feel it all. Thank you so much. Kelly was best known for playing Addie in season 9 of The Walking Dead and starring in 5 episodes between 2018 and 2019. Director Michael Satrizim, I probably pronounced that wrong, was among those to pay tribute to Kelly under the Instagram posting, writing, "I was lucky enough to create with Kelly on The Walking Dead, a bright light on every level. All my love to those who love her." And several Walking Dead actors also commented. Michael Lopez, "My deepest condolences. Kelly was such a sweet and happy soul, and I'm happy to have met her. She fought so hard, sending her and your family lots of light and love. Rest easy." Elena Masterson added, "What an incredible human. So proud to have fought alongside her in our final episode." And Gustavo Gomez commented, "This is heartbreaking. I feel so lucky that our paths cross. Your bright light will always shine on." She also played Penelope Jacobs in Chicago Med and appeared in 911. All right, so a recognition and remembrance of her life will be held in Ohio on August 16th, and her family is also planning a celebration of life in Los Angeles for her friends and colleagues in Los Angeles. All right, so rest in peace. All right, this is a story that just won't end. We're talking about the Cincinnati Brawl. They have finally arrested a 6th person, according to Local 12. Aisha Devon, she's 25. She is charged with felonious assault and aggravated riot. The fugitive apprehension unit took her into custody just before 9 a.m. on Wednesday. Of course, we know the brawl received national attention and provoked safety concerns, racial divide, and political debate. It started with a video of the viral fight on social media showing a white man being punched with multiple black people and falling to the ground, where he is then repeatedly kicked. A woman could also be seen in the video being punched and knocked to the ground. In court, the assistant prosecutor said the white man threw the first punch. Police chief said she will probably release additional footage from the attack, including street surveillance and a body cam. She will probably release. Why are we going to probably release it? It's the public's right to know. There should be no probably. So I don't understand why it's a probably. Hello, Brenda. We've missed you. Where the heck have you been? Welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, well, continuing on this, Charlie Sheen, well, he's an actor that is sometimes kind of, controversial, but he has donated to the fundraiser for the Ohio woman who was beaten by the mob in Cincinnati and praised Republican Senator Bernie Morano and podcaster Benny Johnson for setting it up. The Republican U.S. Senator from Ohio and the controversial influencer Benny Johnson started a Give, Send, Go donation page for the woman, going only by the name of Holly in public. The fundraiser features a pledge that all the money raised will go for her and her medical costs and recovery. The campaign has raised more than $480,000 thus far. One of those to donate was Major League star Charlie Sheen. In his donation message, he noted that his parents are both from Ohio and that his Ohio connections run deep. He also replied to the post by Benny Johnson and wrote, "Benny, I was merely following your gracious lead. The speed at which you and Senator Morano hatched the donation plan was stunning and compassionate, and as patriotic as it gets, you both remind all of us, in America, we remain proud to call home. Keep up the great work, and Holly, we have your 6." All right. Well, so Holly herself spoke out to talk of her experience and her recovery and noted that the beating induced serious brain trauma. There's a shocker. I want to say that Thank you to everyone for all the love and support. It's definitely what's keeping me going. And you have just brought back my faith in humanity, she added. It's been a very, very hard, and I'm still recovering. I still have a very bad brain trauma. All right. You can see the photos of her. I'm sure that, we reported on another episode that she has had threats on her life for coming out in public. Well, the Cincinnati mayor, he held a press conference on August 1st. And, that was 6 days after the violent mob assaulted downtown that left multiple people injured, to address growing concern. Flanking him were several activists and officials whose past comments and affiliation have drawn public backlash amid heightened scrutiny of the city's response. The press conference followed a national outcry over viral footage of the assault, which we said described a man and a woman being beat. Among those present was Iris Rowley, a consultant to the city, manager for Collaborative Agreement and member of the Cincinnati Black United Front. Rowley recently drew backlash for comments made during her Facebook podcast in which she stated, quote, "He deserved it, all of it." In a later statement, she said the remarks was taken out of context and referred to a fellow podcast guest, not a victim of the assault. She also posted that she now considered herself a, quote, target. She had previously made controversial statements on social media, including calling white Americans, this is her words, not mine, the biggest terror threat in the United States. In a 2015 tweet, in a 2015 tweet, and expressing strong opposition to President Donald Trump. She is the host of a podcast called Woke Wednesdays, where she has interviewed guests including Representative Jasmine Crockett, Representative Greg Landsman, and the police chief of Cincinnati. In addition to her prior comments, she also questioned the Cincinnati Police Department's $152 million budget at a separate media event. They don't need all of that money. For what? For what? She asked. I've seen the numbers go down. We hear the mayor saying crime is down. We hear the chief saying it. So what's the money for and why is it there? Maybe this is why. The chief, who previously served as interim chief, now leads the department, addressed the press, and criticized both social media, me, and media coverage of the incident. She stated that the viral clips presented, quote, one version of events and lacked full context, saying social media posts and your coverage of them distort the context of what actually happened, and that makes our job more difficult. Well, she is currently facing a federal lawsuit by 4 high-ranking officers who allege she used a, quote, race-based quota system and engaged in, quote, anti-white discrimination when assigning promotions. The suit claims that the police chief awarded preferred assignments to 79% of the minority lieutenants and 89% of the female lieutenants in 2023, compared to 44% of white male lieutenants. This is the one that gets me. Also speaking at the press conference was Pastor Damon Lynch III. Why is a pastor there? Who challenged why mugshots were not taken of the white individuals involved in the incident. He remarked, this is racial because it's unequal justice, and argued that one of the white victims should have been arrested because, quote, he didn't walk away. Just let that settle in. Lynch attended an August 4th counter-protest against Ohio gubernatorial candidate Vivek Ramaswamy, referring to the Republican candidate as, quote, baby Trump. In response to the violent brawl, Ramaswamy told Breitbart News he spoke directly with the victim, Holly, and called the assault unconscionable, vowing that as governor he would restore public safety and end soft on crime policies. In April, the Reverend preacher publicly supported DEI initiatives and claimed that the country is mainly controlled by white people. This is sure helping calm racial tensions in the city by having this preacher, I can tell. The handling of the incident has drawn calls for resignation from Republican leaders, including Senator Bernie Morano, who helped launch a fundraiser for Holly's recovery alongside conservative commentator Benny Johnson, actor Charlie Sheen were among the contributors, describing the donation effort as stunning and compassionate, as unpatriotic as it gets. We've learned that it's raised over $480,000. But widespread condemnation has also extended to other local officials. The Cincinnati councilwoman, Victoria Parks, well, she's under fire for writing, quote, "They begged for that beatdown" in response to the video incident. The comments, now since been deleted, was met with rebuke, wonder why, from police unions and residents. She reportedly stands by her comments. She has not released a further press release, and is not taking any questions, by the way. That was as of yesterday. The investigation remains ongoing. Cincinnati police have arrested 4, with 6 people facing charges, and they are still searching for 2 more. Additional footage is expected to be released. Chief stated, "Right now, I need to let the investigators continue to do their job." Meanwhile, Holly, the woman injured in the assault, offered gratitude to her supporters in a public video. "It's been very, very hard, and I'm still recovering. I have a very bad brain trauma. You have just brought back my faith in humanity." So I'm going to stand by my comment, and I'll probably lose some subscribers. But at this point, I don't care, because I've already been losing subscribers because people don't like my opinion. If you're white, do not go to Cincinnati. You will not be protected. You will be beat down. It's my advice. So there you go. they want to say that there's no wonder there's racial tension in Cincinnati when they keep stirring the pot. And this reverend or preacher, I saw, just lost a view right there. This reverend or preacher just continues to stir the pot. So what good is that? Don't think that is the purpose of religion. So, all right. Yeah, my views just dropped one. So, all right. Edward Big Balls Corstein was attacked in D.C. Well, here's what we know. A former employee of the Department of Government Efficiency, DOGE, nicknamed Big Balls, was assaulted in Washington, D.C. over the weekend, police said. Edward Constantine was attacked at city's Logan Circle neighborhood by a group of teenagers attempting to carjack him and a woman at around 3 a.m. on Sunday, according to the AP and Politico. The woman was identified by police as his significant other. 2 15-year-olds were arrested as they attempted to flee the scene. We're going to read more about this in another story, but the attack has prompted President Trump to renew calls of federal government to seize control of the nation's capital. Newsweek has reached out for comment, and they are still waiting. Well, why it matters. Trump's remark come as his administration weighs on how far it can go to exert over the city struggling with crime, homelessness, and political infighting. The prospect of federal intervention in D.C., which has operated under limited home rule since 1973, would mark a dramatic departure from decades of precedent. Under the Home Rule Act, the district maintains its own local government, but Congress retains the ultimate authority and can overrule local laws. The group of teenagers approached the couple's car, made a comment about taking the vehicle, according to Metropolitan Police Department. By the way, it's a gun-free city. It's gun-free city. Just want to throw that out there. Constantine pushed the woman into the vehicle for safety and turned to confront the group. Several of the teenagers then attacked him until officers patrolling nearby intervened, police say. As officers moved towards the group, the 2 teenagers fled on foot. The 2 15-year-olds from Maryland were later arrested on charging of unarmed carjacking. Constantine previously held roles in DOGE in its effort to slash the federal bureaucracy and now works for the Social Security Administration. Well, what people are saying, Trump, in a post on Truth Social, said Tuesday, if D.C. doesn't get its act together and quickly, we will have no choice but to take federal control of the city and run this city how it should be run and put criminals on notice. They're not going to get away with it anymore. He added, quote, perhaps it should have been done a long time ago, and this incredible young man and so many others would not have had to go through the horrors of violent crime. If this continues, I'm going to exert my powers and, quote, federalize this city. He called for a change in the law so that the juveniles who attacked Korstein could be charged as an adult. Mark Ellerose, another Doge staffer, wrote on X that he was a hero. He added, I took this photo after Edwards protected a young woman from an attempted carjacking by 8 thugs near DuPont Circle. Violence like this in the heart of D.C. is completely unacceptable. Elon Musk, the former head of Doge, wrote on Tuesday, a few days ago, a gang of about a dozen young men, notice how the number is growing here, about a dozen young men tried to assault a woman in her car at night in D.C. A Doge team member saw what was happening, ran to defend her, and was severely beaten to the point of the concussion, but he saved her. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene, there's going to be 50 people this time, a Georgia Republican, wrote on X, not only does Edward Constantine patriotically work to gut our government of waste, fraud, and abuse, he is also a hero for sacrificing his own safety to defend a helpless woman. We need more men like Edward Constantine. She added, Washington, D.C., our nation's capital, is tragically one of the most dangerous cities in America. I support President Trump in taking over the city to establish law and order. Well, MPD is investigating the attack and is going to remain active, and additional suspects are still being sought. So, all right. We'll hit another little headline on that from WTOP. Trump responds about the 19-year-old government efficiency worker. Let me catch up on the comments here first. Yes, Chris, he writes, her racist personality is what is making her job more difficult. That is correct. Speaking of the Cincinnati police chief. So the 19-year-old worker was attacked, violently beaten. This is according to WTOP at around 3 a.m. This is pretty much the same thing. The 2 suspects. This says only 2 suspects, but the police are looking for others. A 15-year-old boy and a 15-year-old girl were from Hyattsville, Maryland, were arrested and charged with unarmed carjacking. In a police report, they said he overheard the teens talking about taking the car. He pushed his girlfriend to sit in the car while he dealt with the suspects, who then assaulted him. Police are offering $10,000 for any tips to lead to conviction, arrest of others involved. And we read here, Trump calls for 14-year-olds in D.C. to be prosecuted as adults. Well, he advocated for the criminal prosecution minors as young as 14. Social media on Tuesday, under the breach of federal statutory age of under a breach of federal statutory age of majority. In his True Social, he claimed crime in D.C. is out of control and has threatened to take federal control of the city. If it does not get its act together and quickly. And this is pretty much the same whole thing. It talks about homicides are down, but crime is up. So, it's good that we have homicides down, even though I believe I have to check with my friends in the DC media, but I believe that it's steadily growing back. So, or increasing back. All right. One American city has the worst air quality in the world amid an alarming warning. Chicago and Minneapolis air quality was the unhealthy category, which ranks as level 4 of 6 on the air quality index. Well, that was hard to say. Smoke from the Canadian wildfires has been drifting south. I've been reporting on this for days to the Midwest, creating unhealthy conditions in Chicago and Minneapolis, where air quality has been ranked among the world's worst. Air quality alerts issued on Thursday continued through Friday in parts of Illinois and the entire state of Minnesota. Chicago and Minneapolis's air quality was the unhealthy category, which ranks 4 of 6, and air quality was ranked the worst in the world in Chicago, according to the website IQ Air. By Friday, Chicago was ranked 2nd, while Minneapolis was 3rd. Only Kinshasa in the Democratic Republic of Congo has worse air quality levels. Okay, I'm going to read that again now that it makes sense. Only Kinshasa in the Democratic Republic of Congo has worst air quality levels. The National Weather Service urged people with respiratory concerns to limit time outdoors. Conditions are expected to improve over the weekend. They're sharing images, which it's not loading here for some reason. The Illinois Environmental Protection Agency and the Illinois Department of Public Health has warned residents, keep cool, limit physical activities. Particulate matters can make serious health problems, including asthma, heart problems, strokes, and early death, the agency said in a press release. The most at risk people are those with respiratory or pulmonary disorders and children and adults who are active outdoors. They urge residents, particularly those that are harder lung, to keep windows and doors closed and basically stay inside. And like I said yesterday, wear a mask, an N95 or N100 while outdoors. In Canada, wildfires have burned millions of acres. Air quality alerts were issued for several parts of the country, including Manitoba, Ontario, and Saskatchewan. It comes after Donald Trump axed more than a dozen pollution rules and rapid fire deregulation. Okay, so why is that relevant? First off, fires are in Canada, out of our control, and obviously Canada would put the wildfires out if they could. So I'm not sure why it is significant that we reference Donald Trump changing pollution rules. I don't understand why that would have anything to do when the pollution that they're facing is not from anything caused by the reduction of staffing at the EPA or rolling back of policy. This has everything to do with wildfires in Canada. So I'm not even going to continue reading that article because it is wrong. Okay, so we go from some of my viewers in Illinois in the Midwest to some of my viewers in the New York City or the Northeast. Chris says, analysis of Maryland test messages may uncover new info. Well, Brenda's here. You should ask her to consult with the Andy man himself. A deadly vapor haunts Manhattan as 3 are killed and 67 are infected. This reminds me of something that you would see like out of the Fog movie. Let's see. Fires follow rules as much as killers follow gun laws. Agreed. The death toll from a deadly lung disease spreading to New York City has risen again, officials say. Couldn't this headline also, just a kind of side note, couldn't that headline also be a comic book? Deadly vapor haunts Manhattan as 3 are killed and 67 infected. I should put on my DJ voice on the voice changer. All right, so the death toll has risen again. 3 people have now died from the outbreak of Legionnaire's disease, and cases are on the rise from 58 to 67 in just one day. However, officials fear there are more infections going undiagnosed are being, quote, misdiagnosed. No information has been released on the patients or the deceased. All the cases have been detected in 5 zip codes covering Harlem, East Harlem, Morningside Heights neighborhood. It has not been determined yet how the patients have become infected, but a release from the New York City Department of Health said on Tuesday, we said the likely source is a cooling tower in the area. Interesting. Legionnaire's disease is caused by the Legionella bacteria, don't ask me to say that again, which thrive in warm water and become airborne if this is turned into steam. It can also be spread by air conditioning units if bacteria contaminate water droplets in the system. Infected patients initially suffer from a headache, muscle aches, and a fever that may reach as high as 104. If it gets that high, you need to seek medical help. 104 is deadly. But within 3 days, they may experience a cough, shortness of breath, chest pain, nausea, vomiting, diarrhea, confusion, and other mental changes. Hell, I have most of those every day. In serious cases, patients can develop severe pneumonia. The bacteria can spread to the heart and blood, causing the potentially fatal complication called sepsis. All right, so they're saying cooling towers, as seen in the Harlem neighborhood amid Legionnaire's disease, could be the problem. So if you look at the map, you can see there the 5 zip codes where this vapor haunts Manhattan as 3 are killed. I wonder who owns the cooling towers. That's an interesting thought. Probably the city government. All right, so we go to a, well, we'll just call it a animal story. Robot bunnies have been deployed to fight invasive Burmese pythons spreading across Florida. Once again, I'm going to say this could also be a comic book. Robot bunnies deployed to fight invasive Burmese pythons are spreading across Florida. Well, they're spreading across the swamps of southern Florida, munching on the native wildfire and depriving local predators of their food. As invasive pythons continue to spread across Florida, by the way, some scientific reports say that they will be as far as the foothills of the Smoky Mountains right here in East Tennessee by 2026. Invasive pythons continue to spread across Florida. Well, scientists have come up with a solution straight out of a science fiction movie. Enter robot rabbits. The solar-powered devices, designed to look like poor, defenseless rabbit soul thumper, have been placed strategically around hot spots like the Everglades. They lure the pythons out of hiding so they can be caught by brave pest catches and removed from these delicate ecosystems. Well, that was so much nicer than what I thought it was for. We'll finish the story and then I'll put in my 2 cents. The robots are remote controlled so they can be moved to make and look like real rabbits. Poor bugs. The invasive snakes prey on existing wildlife such as wading birds, mammals, and other reptiles, disrupting the balance of things. The robot rabbits come from the fevered dreams of scientists from South Florida Waste Management District and the University of Florida. The decoys are part of tireless efforts to combat and remove the invasive pythons, as well as give off heat to attract the hungry serpents. I got to chill just thinking about that. The robots emit a smell designed to attract pythons. They're equipped with camera and monitor for snakes and notifies the district officials when one is detected. So it rats them out. Then they send out a python removal agent. Now, how do you get that job? Not that I would want it, but a python removal agent. Do you get a badge and a gun with that? To an area to track it down and get it out of the delicate ecosystem. Those innovative robots produce a heat signature, emit a smell designed to attract them. They have cameras that monitor for the snakes, and then they dispatch the snake removal team. According to the South Florida Management District, invasive pythons are one of the most destructive and harmful species in the American Everglades. Their aggressive predation on native wildlife robs panthers, raptors, bobcats, and other native predators of their primary food source. The authorities are trying their hardest to get rid of the Burmese pythons. But they must be humanely killed outside at time of capture, and live transport of pythons is not allowed. They can be hunted and killed on private land with owner's permission and on commission management land with a permit or hunting license. You have a hunting license to hunt snake? Ugh. All right, so I thought, it's just a thought, I thought that the rabbit would turn as the snake approached it and would have automatic 22 bullets that could be fired. Or that maybe the snake would try and wrap around it and it would blow up. I was hoping for something so much more dramatic than it calling for somebody with a badge and gun. A rare illegal pet kangaroo has been ordered to be removed from San Antonio city limits. More than 160... Brenda, do you have a pet kangaroo? More than 160 citations for illegal exotic animals have been issued in more than 2 years, according to Animal Care Services. A rare illegal pet kangaroo was ordered to be removed from the San Antonio city limits after it caused, quote, multiple injuries to the owner's son, according to the Animal Care Services. The 11-year-old boy suffered at least one bite to his back on June 29th at his home on the far northwest side. The owner, Carlos Cavazos, I don't know. He told KSAT his son was going to feed Bobby, the kangaroo, and as he set the bowl down, the animal reached to give him a hug, and it scratched him. The kangaroo nails got caught in his shirt. When he moved, they both got startled, and he just got caught. It didn't bleed, it was just red. As a precaution, the boy's mother took him to a doctor. It's probably a pretty good idea. I can imagine if they called an ambulance and hearing the response on that. So, who reported the incident to the animal care services? Any scratch or break in the skin is classified as a bite under Texas law. Kangaroos are among the many exotic animals banned within San Antonio. Excuse me. Others include monkeys and non-human primates. Non-human primate. I need a better definition. Wolf hybrids, coyotes, foxes, exotic cats, bears, skunks, raccoons, miniature Vietnamese pot-bellied pigs, poisonous reptiles, crocodiles, and related species. You can pretty much guarantee that any animal that you're going to see at the zoo is going to be a, quote, prohibited species, Animal Care Special Agent Manager Bethany Snowden said. Most of those are going to be illegal in San Antonio. The agency told KSAT News it has issued 161 citations for illegal exotic animals in San Antonio in the last 2 years. Snowden said this is the first kangaroo case she has seen in the 8 years she has worked with the agency. She oversees all investigations at the Animal Care Services. You've got to think of what a kangaroo's natural behavior is and their natural instincts. Yet here this animal is residing in a home where he's not able to exhibit any of the natural behaviors that they would, she said. The marsupial is not yet full size and still has a lot of growing to do, according to the ACS. Red kangaroos are native to Australia and can grow to nearly 6 feet tall, 200 pounds. In the wild, they can live more than a decade. They're not always docile, she said. Any animal, once it reaches sexual maturity, that behavior is going to completely change. After the incident, the male red kangaroo was placed in a 30-day quarantine at the San Antonio Zoo. It's in puppy prison. With other dogs and cats, they must be, as with any dog and cat, they must be quarantined for 30 days to be deemed healthy, she said. Following the quarantine, they gave them 7 days to find his pet a new home outside of the city limits. He was also issued several citations in order to pay for more than $500 for quarantine fees. The owner told KSAT that the kangaroo has lived with his family for years. He's just such a staple of our life. We have barbecues all the time, and we have people hanging out, and kids love them. The kids are petting them. I mean, he loves it as much as we do, I'm sure. On July 30th, said he had relocated the kangaroo to a friend's ranch outside Austin. All right. Curious, Brenda, do you own a pet kangaroo? All right. We're almost at the top of the hour, and we're getting close to all of our stories in for today. China fights the mosquito-borne chikungunya virus with drones, fines, and nets as thousands fall ill. Taiwan, Chinese authorities are using nets, spraying insecticides, and even deploying drones to fight the mosquito-borne virus, which has infected thousands of people. Authorities have reported more than 7,000 cases of the virus as of Wednesday, mostly in the southern Chinese manufacturing hub of Fushan, some 170 kilometers from Hong Kong. The number of new cases appears to be dropping slowly, according to authorities. It appears that the largest outbreak ever documented in China, according to the Cesar Lopez Camacho of the University of Oxford. The virus is transmitted by infected mosquitoes and can cause fever and joint pain. What makes this event notable is that the virus has never been established in mainland China before, he said in a statement. This suggests that most of the population had no pre-existing immunity, making it easier for the virus to spread quickly. Chinese state television has shown workers spraying insecticide around city streets, residential area, construction sites, and other areas where people may come in contact with mosquitoes. Workers sprayed some places before entering office buildings. Usually heavy rains and high temperatures have worsened the crisis in China, and authorities are using drones to try and find standing waters where they lay their eggs. Authorities have also threatened to fine people who don't empty water from outdoor receptacles. It can be subject to fines of up to 10,000 yen and have their electricity cut off. Because of the virus, the U.S. has issued a travel advisory suggesting that Americans take extra precautions when visiting China's Guangdong province, where Foshan is located, as well as Bolivia and some island nations in the Indian Ocean. Since the 2003 SARS outbreak, China has had strict measures to fight the spread of viruses, including hardline tactics during it's the C virus pandemic. This time, patients are being forced to stay in hospital at Foshan for at least 1 week and briefly enforced a 2-week at-home quarantine, which is dropped because the disease cannot be transmitted between people. Reports have also emerged of attempts to stop the spread with fish that eat mosquito larvae and even larger mosquitoes to eat the insects that carry the larvae. Don't they have some robot rabbits? Officials have held meetings at adopted protocols at the national level in a sign of China's determination to eliminate the outbreak and avoid international criticism. Well, it's probably a good idea because I kind of remember there was something else that happened too. I don't think it came from a mosquito though. I don't know. Could be me. All right. Once again, we're going back to Florida. A 9-year-old girl tries to save mom from drowning after grandpa keeps shoving her underwater in a fight over the will. Well, I guess the daughter was very respectful. A tourist vacationing in Florida allegedly tried to drown his daughter-in-law in an argument over his will. It was only stopped thanks to his granddaughter and neighbors who called 911. It happened Sunday in Davenport, which is not far from Walt Disney World and other theme parks, the Polk County Sheriff's Office said in a press release. Deputies responded to the Celerita Resort on Pine Tree Trail at around 5:19 p.m. for a disturbance in a backyard swimming pool. The victim and the witness said 62-year-old Mark Raymond Gibbon of Beaconsfield, England, which is about 25 miles west of London, kept shoving the 33-year-old woman underwater during the fight. Family was together on vacation when Gibbon and his daughter-in-law had a quarrel about the, quote, stipulations of his will, and a probable cause arrest affidavit said. He allegedly pushed her underwater and held her down multiple times. The complainant stated she reportedly tried to get away, but he kept shoving her back down. She advised that she could not breathe and believed that she was going to drown, deputies wrote. The victim advised that she had to fight Mark in order to get away from him and from under the water, but he kept pushing her back under. It was at this point the victim's 9-year-old daughter saw what was happening and jumped into the pool to her mother's defense, according to the police. The girl tried to get him to stop, but he allegedly pushed her away. The victims saw some neighbors and yelled at them to call 911. He allegedly stopped when the neighbors said they were calling the sheriff's office. Deputies arrived on the scene and took him into custody. After receiving his Miranda warnings, he allegedly admitted to pushing his daughter-in-law underwater, but said he did not intend to drown her. He claimed they were drinking when they got to talking about the will, and then she slapped him, which is what set off the skirmish. The daughter-in-law reportedly suffered a couple of scratches. He was arrested on charges of attempted second-degree murder and battery. He remains in the Polk County Jail without bond. His next court date is 9 September. It's great that the Polk County draws visitors from all across the world, but what we expect vacationers to do is behave while they visit us, just as we expect our lifelong residents to do the same. Because Mr. Gibbon couldn't control his anger, he may find himself spending a lot more time in Florida than he had anticipated, according to Polk County Sheriff Grady Judge. Anybody that follows Polk County Sheriff Grady Judge, he's a law and order man. All right, it's top of the hour. It's 1400, and we are going to probably do this story and maybe another one real quick, and we'll get to what we normally cover. All right. So this comes to us from Newsweek, and it's talking about Superman. You notice I've got a comic book theme in the past 2 days. Well, Superman star Dean Cain says he joined ICE. Wow. All right. So actor Dean Cain, who became famous for his role as Clark Kent in Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman, says he has joined the Immigrations and Custom Enforcement. Some critics are saying he is above the maximum recruitment age, though. Newsweek reached out to his representative for comment on Wednesday via email outside of regular working hours. Cain starred alongside Terry Hatcher in Lois and Clark, The New Adventures of Superman in the 1990s. He was also the host of Ripley's Believe It or Not. Last week, President Donald Trump's administration launched an ICE campaign to help carry out its detention and deportation of migrants. The program promises a robust package of incentives, including a $50,000 signing bonus and retirement benefits. Your country is calling you to serve at ICE, Secretary of Homeland Secretary Kristi Noem said in a press release on July 29th. Your country needs dedicated men and women of ICE to get the worst and worst criminals out of our country. This is a defining moment in our nation's history. Your skills, your experience, and your courage have never been more essential. Together, we must defend the homeland. Well, on Tuesday, Cain said on X and Instagram that he joined ICE and encouraged his followers to do the same. Hey, everybody, this is from him. Hey, everybody, Dean Cain here. For those who don't know, I'm a sworn law enforcement officer as well as being a filmmaker. I felt it was important to join with our first responders to help secure the safety of all Americans, not just talk about it. The 59-year-old began in his 1 minute, 32-second videos, so I joined up. Since President took office, ICE has arrested hundreds of thousands of criminals, including terrorists, rapists, murderers, pedophiles, MS-13 gang members, drug traffickers, you name it, very dangerous people who are no longer on the streets, he continued. Cain added that people who sign up will receive great benefits and can get to work right away. If you want to help save America, ICE is arresting the worst of the worst and removing them from America's streets, he concluded in a clip. I like that. I voted for that. At the time of publication, the actor's post racked up 82,800 views, 5,000 likes, 314 comments. On Instagram, the views are hidden, though it had an additional 2,000 likes and 308 comments. Well, what people are saying, an ex-user Billy Hunter Farmer wrote, unfortunately, you can't join ICE if you're over 37 years of age, even if you're a fully licensed state law enforcement officer. As of now, they do not have waivers unless you were previously a federal law enforcement officer. In response, Cain wrote, perhaps we will get that changed. And Holly Knoll wrote, I will look into it, but I'm too old. Cain said, well, dang it. Andy Hall 23, Superman himself would be disappointed in you, Dean. Yes, there was a comic book company that had a Superman panel with him locked in kryptonite handcuffs. Cain replied back, not a chance. Colt Bronson 99 wrote, holy cow, you have lost your mind. It's a sad to America when we have to have actors pretend to be officers and trying to recruit folks. You're a sad little man. So he wrote with a photo of himself, I have been a sworn officer for almost 10 years. All right. So you can sign up if you're interested. They are taking people if you are a law enforcement officer. They might even take paramedics like me. I'm not going, but that might. I don't know. I'm too old. Hollywood ranked above Dollywood, that's here in East Tennessee, ranked above Disney in the latest TripAdvisor Awards. I don't understand this. As Dollywood continues to welcome visitors for its 40th year of operation, the Pigeon Forge-based theme park that's here in East Tennessee has once again been recognized as one of the most popular theme parks in the world. Officials have named Dollywood the #1 theme park in the U.S. as part of its 2025 Traveler's Choice of Best Award. This marks the third time in the last 4 years the park has garnered the top spot. So in order, they are Dollywood, which is in Pigeon Forge, Tennessee, the Magic Kingdom, which is in Bay Lake, Florida, Knoebels Amusement Resort in Ellsberg, Pennsylvania, Disney's Hollywood Studios in Bay Lake, Florida, Universal Islands of Adventure in Orlando, Fun Spot America in Kissimmee, Florida, Legoland, California in Carlsbad, Universal Studios in Florida. I like them. Silver Dollar City in Branson, Missouri, which I think Dolly also owns. Whale's Tail Park in Lincoln, New Hampshire. Never heard of that one. You can see the complete list over on TripAdvisor. All right, so that's interesting. Being a native here to East Tennessee, I just don't get it. Give me the beach, please. Pretty please. All right, we'll do this one as kind of a funny little thing before we get to some more serious things. This comes to us from our friends at BuzzFeed. And the headline is, I'm staring at my phone in disbelief after looking at these truly unhinged things people thought they could sell on the intranet last week. Number 1, Elvis's trapped soul. It is a bowling ball with no holes. It's available for $150. A friend who always be there for you. It's an emotional support goose for $250. I don't know, it's kind of got red glowing eyes. I'd take the robot rabbit before I'd take that. A like new casket. Like new, hardly used. $500. Yeah. Was only down for 3 years and we decided to bring it back and go a different route. Lightly used, like new. No low balls, will not reply to offers if it is still available. The star of Discovery Channel's Man vs. Wild, the Bear Grill, for $123,456. It is a grill that is in the shape of a bear. Yeah. Exhibit A, divorce proceedings. Stupid spin bike my wife bought, $250. Exhibit A. Oh, a pre-seasoned grill. Well, it's listed in the Roanoke, Virginia yard sale page. Only used like 3 times. And it's a Blackstone grill that, good Lord, if the legs don't have rust keeping it standing, nothing does. It's for $200 in Roanoke, Virginia. The deal of a lifetime. For $10, I will come and make you and your family beanie weenies for just $10. All right. If any of my listeners don't know what beanie weenies is, it's pork and beans, which is basically white beans, or no, they're kidney beans in a pasta sauce, and you cut up hot dogs and put them in it. It's a acquired taste. A sign when you're not ready to commit. A weak-ass stop sign just listed for $15 is a construction hand sign that reads slow in orange and black. A weak-ass stop sign. A grill with nothing to lose. It's the homicidal grill for $10. It looks like it only has 2 legs. I don't know how the thing's even standing. A tanning bed. I should have looked at this first. A tanning bed with just a, quote, tiny bit of excrement in it. Full-size tanning bed was $600, now $300. Bring your own Lysol. Chris says that bike may be stupid, but it's still pretty nice for $200. Chris, you need a tanning bed. Oh, a simply radiant ring. Well, it's size 6 radiant engagement ring for $1,000. Well, somebody must have said no. So, oh God. Oh, this is wrong. Something for the ladies. It's a homemade, sexy Kermit statue that apparently, well, they had to blur out his private parts. You can get that for just $75. A powerful, powerful sign. Handmade no smoking sign for $5. It's a piece of cardboard that says no smoke, NOSMOK, no smoke, with a circle and a cigarette and what appears to be two sperm cells wiggling. Chris writes, tiny bit in that picture don't match up. Agreed. Meatball's happy place. Well, Meatball must be the cat, and it's his favorite couch for $50. It appears that Meatball is posing in the picture, and it does have lots of ripped up upholstery and lots of cat fur that I'm sure comes with it at no extra charge. Oh, this is a deal. The Lobster Mobile. Well, it's a 2009 Volkswagen Beetle 1.8 TSE hatchback two-door. Well, it's for $4,500, and somebody must have bought it because there is a lobster statue, I guess, decoration affixed to the vehicle. And it says, all you can eat lobster, Boston Lobster Feast, Orlando and Kissimmee. So that was in Florida. The Devil's Linens. Okay. It's a $5 Satan pillowcase. Satan. I did not pronounce that wrong. The Jester's Throne. It's a rare Jester's chair for €60. Okay. That's basically a chair with two jester feet put on it. And yeah, that's just scary. The Remnants of an Ancient Civilization artifact for $2,200. It's a rock that has been carved to look like a smiley face. Oh, this is creepy. Your new best friend, a life-size crochet doll, complete with red hair and eyebrows. Not sure if the carpet matches the drapes or the drapes match the carpet, whatever that saying is. And simply the most terrifying thing I have ever seen. It's a very unusual mirror. And it appears that it is a mirror that has several bull horns put into it in a leather frame-ish. I don't know. That's weird. The perfect gift for any child. Well, it's a large wasp nest, and they're selling it for only $150. It's a paper wasp nest. Chris says, I would drive around a lobster car really late at night just to freak out drunk drivers. I wonder if you could use it as an Uber. Oh, a jug containing the spirit of a malevolent entity. It's the ugly face jug for $70. And it appears to be a Tibetan shrunken head with a cork that is a smaller shrunken head as its stopper. Only $70. Just a stolen cart from the Matsu Valley buy sell. Appears to be in good condition. Works as it should. First come, first serve. I'm near Home Depot in Wasala. $50 for a double-decker shopping cart. Could be yours today for $50. I have a funny story about those. When I was a delinquent children, we decided that it would be a good idea to take them and put them in my friend's truck and drive off from Zayre's in Alexandria, Virginia. And we got to our houses and the parents were like, what the hell is that? And we were like, oh, you're supposed to be in bed. It's shopping carts. It's Zayre's shopping carts. And we had to take them back. We had to drive all the way back to Zayre's and put them back. I was afraid we'd get caught going back to Zayre's and not taking them more than I was. Oh, well. A bow that might be under the weather. A bow that might be under the weather. $10 a green bow. It's just a green bowl that is very ugly. The ultimate dad joke. It's a 38-foot boat for $38,000 in Newington, Connecticut. And it is a boat statue that looks like it could be a container, and it has 38 feet on the bottom of it. Yeah. And somewhere, somebody probably bought that. Okay, let's get to the serious stuff that we normally do every day here. All right, well, FEMA decided to get back to work, which we're kind of glad. So they came out with the FEMA National Watch Center Daily Operations Briefing as presented to the president at 8:30 a.m. This is for Tuesday, August 5th, 2025. National current ops in their monitoring. Well, there are new ongoing operations, no new declarations. The hazard warnings for today are severe thunderstorms in the northern plains, heavy rain, flash flooding in the southeast and mid-Atlantic, and critical fire weather in Utah and Colorado. Well, the tropics are starting to heat up a little bit. Dexter's already formed, and disturbance number 1, it has a 40% chance of forming to a named storm, and disturbance number 2 has a 50% chance of forming to a named storm. In the eastern Pacific, there's Tropical Storm Henriette, and there's one disturbance there with a 90% probability becoming a named storm. In the eastern Pacific, 985 miles west-southwest of the tip of Baja, with a maximum sustained winds of 50 miles an hour and high gusts, it's moving west-northwest at 15 miles an hour. It has tropical force winds extending outward up to 90 miles from the center. Some additional strengthening is forecast during the next day or so, followed by a gradual weakening, and it appears it's not coming in contact with any land or causing any problem. In the central and eastern Pacific, there is another storm located off the coast of Central America. It's still a tropical depression, but it could form later this week. Winds moving west-northwest at about 15 miles an hour, and they're saying a medium chance in the next 48 hours at 60% and a higher chance in the next 7 days at 90%. Over in the Atlantic, well, Tropical Storm Dexter, it's 345 miles north of Bermuda. It has maximum sustained winds of 40 miles an hour with higher gusts. It's moving to the northeast at nearly 12 miles per hour. The tropical force winds extend out 115 miles. Wow. Some re-strengthening is forecast in a couple of days as Dexter becomes an extratropical cyclone. And disturbance number 1, which is located southeast of the Carolinas, gradual development is possible midweek to a tropical depression. It could form by the weekend. The 48-hour chance is low at 10%, and the 7-day chance is medium at 40%. Disturbance number 2, a tropical wave, is forecast to move off the west coast of Africa. A depression could form late this week. A formation chance in the next 48 hours is near 0, and 7-day chance is near 50%. We look at the national weather forecast, and once again, the Dakotas, you're back under the gun with severe thunderstorms. We're expecting heavy rains here in the south from Mobile all across Georgia, extending into the Carolinas, with spotty rain showers coming from Maine all the way down to the Gulf of America, including the handle of Florida. Utah and Colorado, well, most of Utah is under a critical fire weather watch, with Colorado also having the small portion in the upper left corner or upper southwestern, right? No, northwestern corner of Colorado. Wednesday, the fire weather is pretty much going to stay the same, and the chances for heavy or severe thunderstorms are out of the way, but most of the Great Atlantic, Mid-Atlantic, Central Atlantic, Central Ohio, Mid-Atlantic, Central Ohio Valley, all the way back to the Mississippi and down to the deep south, including Louisiana, Alabama, and Florida, can expect spotty showers. That low is coming from Canada. It's going to continue to push down, but it's meeting a wave coming from the west, and that's going to cause rain to form pretty much through the Midwest, extending back to the east. Look at the fire weather, and as we were discussing, it's pretty much critical for Utah, and it extends into Colorado, Arizona, all the way down to New Mexico, and that is going to continue for the next 2 days. The severe weather chance, as predicted for the Dakotas, is nearly 10%. The hazardous heat in the deep southeast in the deep south is expected to be, on the hazard scale, 8 out of 10. All right, 8 out of 11 on the hazard scale. Wonder why they go to 11. All right, or no, wait a minute, that's the damn date. What the hell's wrong with you, Glenn? That's the hazardous heat that's going through the 11th. Whoo, I can't read tiny print. All right, space weather, nothing really to report. Nothing really to report. There's some talk of a solar storm too coming up in the near future too. Wildfires, well, wow. They're burning. They don't give the number listed here, but the most recent one, Monroe Canyon in Utah, well, it's 13% contained, and they have pretty much gotten, I don't know, I'm trying to figure, 220 people evacuated, and it's still threatening 110 homes and 102 businesses. So that fire is still growing out of control, but they have got a little bit of a handle on it. We look at the common operating procedure, and we see there are 17 joint field offices. And remember, there have been 19 in the past, 64 major disasters, 7 emergency declarations. There are still 11 direct housing missions. That's repopulation for Kentucky, the Carolinas, and probably the Dakotas. And then there are some other supported disasters and 6 recovery offices. So they're saying that they're stressed at the moment. Severe storms and heavy rainfall for Vermont. They have assessed the damage there, and they will be issuing a declaration in the next 48 hours. And declaration requests from Connecticut, North Dakota, and New England for severe storms and straight line winds with tornadoes in the Dakotas, and then some other heavy winds. All right, so that is our daily FEMA update. It doesn't say why they were absent for so many days, but we're glad that they came back. All right, so we're going to look at the president's schedule. We'll go back and see if he did anything after we last spoke yesterday. Well, he went on a walk on the roof of the White House at 10:45 a.m. The president goes for a walk on the roof of the White House. I really hope there's some pictures from that. Yesterday at 10:45 a.m. At 11:30, there was the White House press office lunch, and they locked the White House down until afternoon. And then at 4 o'clock, the president signs executive orders in the South Court Auditorium. I want pictures of him walking on the roof. At 9 a.m., in-pool camera call time for today. And then at 4:30, the president is going to make an announcement from the Oval Office. That's in exactly 2 hours. The president of the United States will make an announcement from the Oval Office. No idea on what it could be. Let's jump over here and see if WRC out of Washington, D.C. has any clue as to what it could be, because they carry live updates on the president. All right, Texas Democrats evacuate Illinois hotel after bomb threat. Oh, okay. So this is a live update. Texas Democrats have evacuated an Illinois hotel after bomb threat. Trump doubles down on India tariffs. All right. So those are some of the headlines. Trump signed an executive order on Wednesday to place an additional 25% tariff on India for its purchases of Russian oil, bringing the combined tariffs imposed by the president on the country of India to 50%. Russian President Vladimir Putin held talks with President Donald Trump, Special Envoy Steve Witkoff in Moscow this morning in a last-ditch effort for a ceasefire deal ahead of Friday's deadline to halt fighting. Trump has threatened to take over D.C. We've talked about that, calling crime totally out of control after a DOJ employee was badly beaten. Democrats in America's 2 biggest blue states are hatching plans to respond in kind to mid-decade move by Texas to draw a friendlier House map for Republicans. I haven't really followed that. The Trump administration is considering publicly releasing the transcript of a Justice Department's critical two-day interview with Janine Maxwell last month, a source familiar with the matter has told WRC News, NBC News. 33 minutes ago, the president was briefed on the Fort Stewart shooting. White House Press Secretary Karen Leavitt said the president had been briefed. The White House is monitoring the situation. 5 soldiers were shot on Wednesday before the shooter was arrested. The shooting is in the area of the 2nd Armored Brigade Combat Team, prompted a lockdown, but there is no longer a threat to the community. 56 minutes ago, U.S. still plans to hit Russia with secondary sanctions after Putin's meeting, the White House says. The Trump administration is planning to move forward with secondary sanctions on Russia on Friday, a White House official said today, after the U.S. Special Envoy Steve Witkoff met in Moscow with Vladimir Putin. The meeting with Russia and the Special Envoy went well, the official said about today's meeting. The Russians are eager to continue engaging with the United States. The secondary sanctions are still expected to be implemented on Friday. Trump said in a Truth Social post that Witkoff had a highly productive meeting with Putin. Great progress was made. Afterwards, I updated some of our European allies, and everyone agrees this war must come to a close, and we will work towards that in a few days and weeks to come. Secretary of State Mark Rubio was asked earlier today if the sanctions will still take effect later this week, and he said we'll have more to say about that later today. I'm assuming that's probably going to be the 4 o'clock presser. Ambassador Witkoff is on his way back now. He just got off the phone with the president, and he told reporters we still have some other discussions to go throughout the day. Hopefully there'll be some announcements here fairly soon. Maybe positive, maybe not. Homeland Security removes age limit for ICE recruiters. Hey, didn't we just talk about this? The Department of Homeland Security said Wednesday is removing age limits for new hires at the agency responsible for immigration enforcement as it aims to expand hiring after a massive infusion of cash from Congress. The department said in a news release that it would waive age limits for new applicants so even more patriots will qualify to join ICE. The agency is responsible for finding, arresting, and detaining and removing people who are in the U.S. illegally. The agency is at the center of the Trump administration efforts to carry out President Trump's mass deportation agenda. Earlier this summer, Congress passed a spending bill that gave ICE money to hire more than 10,000 people. Currently, ICE applicants must be 21 with no older than 37 for criminal investigators, 40 for deportation officers. However, the restrictions do not apply for certain preference-eligible veterans currently serving or previously served in federal civilian law enforcement position. All right. Texas lawmakers in Illinois evacuated from their hotel after a threat. Democratic state legislators from Texas were evacuated from their suburban Chicago hotel Wednesday morning following a threat at the property, and a news conference set to feature Democratic Senator Dick Durbin was canceled. Durbin was to join Illinois Democrat voices who have rallied behind Texas Democrats who traveled to the state in an effort to block the passage of new Republican-drawn congressional map. Because the members are absent, the Texas State House does not have a quorum to move forward with legislation. The public announcement system inside the hotel issued an evacuation directive sound at 7:15 local this morning. Lawmakers and staff rushed outside, according to people inside. This morning, a threat was made against the safety of the members of the Texas House Democratic Caucus. 3 Texas State House Democrats said in a statement, "We are safe, we are secure, we are undeterred and unintimidated. We are grateful for Governor Pritzker's local and state law enforcement for their quick actions to ensure our safety." Aren't they just on vacation? Trump puts a new 25% import tax on India. We've talked about that one. Appeals to announce additional investments in the U.S. as it seeks to avoid tariff. Apple will announce a $100 billion investment in the United States today at an event in the White House. So that may be the 4:30. The announcement will bring Apple's general investment pledge to $600 billion. In February, Apple announced a $500 billion U.S. investment over the next 4 years. It came on the heels of a $430 billion pledge in 2021. All right, so Apple has made a number of these announcements in recent years, but it's unclear exactly how many jobs are created and how much money is actually spent. Trump denies playing a role in the transfer of Janine Maxwell. NBC News has learned that the Trump administration has considered publicly releasing the transcripts of the 2-day interview with the DOJ, according to an inside source. Comes as the president is denying that he played any role in the transfer of Maxwell from a Florida prison to a minimum security federal prison camp in Texas that typically does not hold sex offenders, according to NBC's Gabe Guitez. And what is the Voting Rights Act? Well, the Voting Rights Act is known as the crown jewel of the civil rights movement, was first enacted in 1965 to protect voters from discrimination. This is a Tennessee announcement. GOP Senator Marsha Blackburn announces a run for the governor of Tennessee. Governor Greg Abbott in Texas has asked the Texas Supreme Court to fire Democrat leaders. He asked them to remove the state's House Democrat leader, Gene Wu, from office. Comes as President Trump is saying the FBI may get involved in an effort to return them to their state capital after they fled the state in an effort to stall the push to create 5 more Republican districts in Texas. Trump's envoy meets Putin ahead of the Russia-Ukraine deadline. We talked about that. That was 6 hours ago. And that appears pretty much all of the happenings in Washington, D.C. for the day, in case you were interested. The National Weather Service, this is just pretty much a briefing from the same thing we just discussed. It does not show the Dakotas, though, is getting nearly hit as bad as they were saying they were going to, and the heavy rain and flash flooding more towards the coastline in the Carolinas and Georgia. Tomorrow, they're saying the Dakotas are back in the highlights. And then we look at up here, a little purple, that's mixed precipitation up there in Idaho, Montana, Wyoming. Up in the higher elevations could see a little bit of mixed precipitation. And critical fire weather is still pretty much for all of Utah, parts of Nevada, and Wyoming, and Colorado. In the East Coast, Mid-Atlantic, Central Atlantic, Deep South could all expect spotty showers tomorrow. Day 3, well, still a little bit of snow up in the higher elevations. A severe threat for thunderstorms pretty much is going to divide the Dakotas, Minnesota, and Iowa, all the way down to Nebraska. And spotty showers in the south to the Chesapeake Bay region. Look now here. This is the tornado forecast for today. Any high winds? We see there's less than 2% in all of the areas, according to the National Weather Service. And the chance for high winds is probably 5% against South Dakota, extending over all the way over really to Illinois. And then the hail forecast is still, well, for pretty much the Dakotas, but it could extend over to the east as far as, what is that, Illinois? No, Wisconsin. And hail could be the size of golf balls, but there's a very slight chance, less than 3%. We'll take a look in a minute at some of the actual storms that are ongoing. All right, let's take a quick look at the radar here. In Australia first, we'll hit off with Brisbane. Well, you're going to have a high today of 72 and a low of 50, and it's going to be sunny and mild, characteristic of the subtropic winter, but you can continue with the dry spells, minimum rainfall, and the season is going to continue to be dry, high winds, clear skies. Up in down in Melbourne, well, high of 57, low of 41, mostly cloudy with a slight chance of drizzle, particularly along the coastal regions. Expecting cool temperatures to the Victoria winter climate. It's going to be influenced by the frontal system coming from the southern oceans. Down here, we'll show in a little bit with the winds and some moderate winds. Darwin, you can expect, what can you expect? A high of 88, a low of 68, warm and sunny, typical of Darwin's tropical dry season. Low humidity around 30% with clear skies and pleasant conditions. No rain is expected. Over in Perth, you can anticipate a high of 64, low of 46, partly cloudy, chance of light showers in the morning, and it's going to be pretty much your Mediterranean climate, wet winters today, but mostly dry with moderate winds continuing after that. All right. Did I forget anybody? Let's see. Sydney. Did I talk about Sydney? I don't think I talked about Sydney. Nope, I didn't. Sydney, 63 and 46. 63 is your high. 46 is your low. Partly cloudy with a chance of light showers in the morning. Well, it's kind of right now due to the remnant moisture from recent heavy rainfall. Some persistent fog, reducing the visibility, but conditions should be clear by the afternoon. You can expect cool, breezy weather for the rest of the day. And Sydney, I do not see any rain currently on the radar. Let's see. We talked about Melbourne, Brisbane. Did I talk about Brisbane? I don't remember. I've gotten out of circle here. Yes, I did talk about Brisbane. Portland. See, Brisbane, in case I didn't, 72 and 50, sunny and mild. Perth, I forgot, 64 and 46. I skipped around. Adelaide, 59 and 43, mostly cloudy with a slight chance of rain. It's going to be cool, wet winters as usual, but significant rainfall is unlikely for today. Chilly mornings and mild afternoons. It's pretty much jacket weather in the morning and sweaters in the afternoon. All right, so Darwin's going to enjoy sunny, warm conditions due to the tropical dry season, while southern cities, Sydney, Melbourne, Adelaide, Hobart, Canberra experience cooler, cloudier weather with occasional showers, typical of winter. Brisbane and Perth fall in between those with milder temperatures. Recent heavy rainfall and fog in the east include Sydney, may linger in the morning, but should ease with no severe warnings are noted for today, according to the Bureau of Meteorology. All right, so let's skip over to the old US of A and look at the current radar. And we see right now Washington, D.C., well, all right, well, I didn't expect that. Washington, D.C., a little bit of rain in Washington, D.C. Well, all right, we're just going to show the rainfall for the moment. Washington, D.C., extending down through Richmond, Norfolk, along the Chesapeake Valley, back through Southwest Virginia, extending down to the Carolinas and the tip of East Tennessee. We've got some heavy rainfall going on currently. Tallahassee, you've got some heavy rainfall going on down there. Des Moines, well, you also have some heavy rainfall at the moment. We'll take a look at current temperatures in here in a second. And here is the satellite view of Australia. It looks to be pretty much cloudy center continent extending over to the east, but the west is pretty cloud free. Going over to the United States. Whoa, there they are, hidden in all these clouds. Washington, here we go. Today you're 69 and 76, cloudy. Atlanta, well, Atlanta, you're going to be a high of 81, the low of 66. Dallas, a high of 95. 75 is your low. Salt Lake City, your low is 67 with a high of 94. Seattle, you'll be a chillier, rainy drizzle, 61 at 67. Extending down to San Francisco, sunny skies with a high of 71 and a low of 58. Los Angeles, sunny skies, a high of 90 and a low of 62. We can see here where they're predicting for Dexter to pretty much go off into the North Atlantic Ocean and do nothing. These back here off the Horn of Florida, this is the one small disturbance 1, and they predict something could occur from it, but there is a wave coming off of the little top western horn here of Africa that's going to extend to the south. We'll see later here in just a minute, actually. We'll see how the Sierra dust is stopped. for the moment. All right, so we have flash flood warnings in North Carolina and Georgia, in a special weather statement in Florida. This is inland Broward County, and this is down in the southern area. National Weather Service meteorology's tracking a strong thunderstorm, and it's pretty much around 75 west of Sunrise, down in Miami, pretty much at the northeast. Some heavy gusty winds should knock down some trees and stuff, so they've issued a special weather statement. Maryland, well, there you go. It's test message again. Arkansas, heat advisory throughout the day, lasting pretty much the rest of the afternoon. We talked about the flash flood warnings. Florida has a flood warning now in Jackson and a special weather statement. Well, this is up in Massachusetts. Doppler radar has indicated a strong thunderstorm over North Adams, moving at 5 miles an hour. Gusty winds up to 40 and penny-sized hail. So if you're in the North Adams area, be on your toes. Be prepared for some severe weather. Let's see. South Dakota flood warning, small craft advisories. Well, that's pretty much from the eastern winds. Let's see. Flash flood warning in New York, heat advisories in Kansas. You can go to weatherwarn.com and check out the latest ones. Vermont, you have a special weather statement that's ending. The flash flood warnings have now been issued for all of Virginia and a small craft advisory on the Chesapeake. And both of the Carolinas, Alabama, and Georgia have issued flood warnings. Let's go take a look at the current radar with the active warnings on screen with it. Let's go down here to Florida first. See where that little storm is right there with the special weather statement. Pretty much Miami. It's a small cell, but it does have some electrical activity. Tallahassee, looks like most of yours is just rain, but that front coming out of the panhandle is going to cause some possible severe weather. So if you have a weather radio and have it on, Georgia has went ahead and issued a flood warning and flood advisory for South Georgia. Skipping up to the Carolinas, North and South Carolinas, there's some heavy rain, some heavy storms, flash flood warnings, severe thunderstorms warning. You're encouraged from the Carolinas all the way up through the Outer Banks of Delaware to have your weather radio on and be prepared to move to shelter for sudden storms. Zooming back in, we go up to the storm just to the west of Detroit. It is to the northwest of Detroit. It does have some activity to it, but it's a small cell, and it is moving to the north. We see here where they're talking about Dexter will just move out and pretty much be a storm as it goes out to sea. We don't see the other one on this map as well formed. And I don't think I have anything for Australia. There's some earthquakes. When was this one? All right, so there was an earthquake northeast of Los Lopos at 5:33 a.m. And there were some other in Papua New Guinea, some small earthquakes. So off the coast of Papua New Guinea, one was a 4.5, another was a 4.4, and a 4.5. So, and another 4.4. If we look over off of the Russian coast, we'll see that area is pretty lit up. There's so many dots and dashes there. It's hard to make out what's what. There's been so many earthquakes there. And the volcano has apparently started an ash cloud. And if we look at the islands, we see that there has been a volcano warning. We'll get to that with Kilauea. All right, let's look at the lightning activity real quick here. We see that most of the lightning activity, South Dakota, that little storm south of Sioux Falls, it's got very little activity, lightning activity at least. It's heavy rain. Detroit, there is not so much lightning, but more so heavy rain. Up in, over in Vermont and Syracuse, Buffalo, back in there, there's a pretty good sized cell moving to the east that has a lot of electrical activity in it. We look at Columbia, Missouri, and what town is that? Well, pretty much Metro Kansas City. There's a small cell to the south and to the east. And that activity, down here in New Orleans, there's a cell down there that's just fired up that is getting really hot with lots of electrical activity in it. If you're in New Orleans, make sure to have your weather radio on. Up in Dothan, Alabama, that cell is moving to the east up towards Albany, and it's got some power to it. Panama City, probably a good idea to get out of the ocean right now. There's a cell moving through that's got a little activity. That was the one that's hitting Tallahassee so bad. Let's look and see if there's any power outages reported. I'll refresh this because it doesn't do it on its own. California has 12,672 people without power. That's the only one, and that's showing to be in Mono County, 1,652. Napa is got 1,081 without power. It's the only state showing greater than 10,000 people without power. Let's look at the temperature map real quick because we know it's a hot day. Well, currently in Charlotte, North Carolina, it is 71. Atlanta, you're currently 79, 77. New York City, Washington, D.C., 76. Boston, 74. All the way up here in Burlington, Vermont, you're getting warm at 82 degrees. Milwaukee, 81. Kansas City, 87. Tulsa, 92. We look down to the south. Dallas, you're in the 90s. Amarillo, you're in the high 90s. Lubbock, you're in the high 90s. Odessa, you're in the high 90s. Back over in Phoenix, we have 109 degrees, with Las Vegas coming in closely at 102. Florida doesn't want to feel left out, so it is 94 degrees in Tampa, all the way down into the Keys, where it's in the 80s down in the Keys. We'll zoom out a little bit and go to our friends down under, and we'll look and see at current temperatures. And currently in Brisbane, it is 56, Sydney 55, Melbourne 41, Adelaide, it is 47, Perth 50, I always have a problem with this one. Canaveral is 59, Port Hedland 67, Broome 70, Darwin, you are currently at 68 with Alice Springs right in the middle at 50. So Adelaide 47 in case I missed you. The National Weather Service here is talking about heat. This is their heat warning, the heat risk. See, most of the country, actually probably about 98% of the country, is a code yellow, which is minor. It says it primarily affects those who are sensitive to heat and without cooling or hydration. Look at Florida. Most of Florida is a code orange, which means it's a moderate condition. It affects those who are sensitive without proper cooling or hydration, and it's going to affect some healthcare people by being increasing the number of people ill. We go back over and we see all of New Mexico, most of Oklahoma, most of Colorado, except for the higher elevations, and all the way down into Southern California, Arizona, New Mexico. Parts of y'all are code red. That is a major heat warning. It affects anyone that doesn't have proper cooling or hydration, and you want to stay indoors, stay well hydrated, and stay cool. All right, let's take a look at the beautiful, round, perfect globe. This, in case you are new to the channel, is the AI-generated wind that is giving over the big, beautiful blue globe, and it shows the wind patterns currently. We can change this if we want to watch waves or tides, but on this map, it is showing mostly all the wind. We see Dexter up here spinning, where he's going to just continue going to the north, northeast, and fiddle out to nothing. We can't really see that front off of this. It's not very well formed off of the coast of Africa. That's going to continue over to the west. We drop down to Australia, not Antarctica, Australia. Look at current winds there. Well, it's pretty much a breezy day. Alice Springs is currently, well, you've got some moderate winds at around 22 kilometers right now. But most of those winds are moving to the west, northwest, and they're not as severe as those that are currently in Alice Springs. Like I said, it's about 26 kilometers right now. So we can put this in so that you can see the whole thing. Let's put it into air motion. All right, I've lost my place where I was going here. Anime heights, winds, ocean, no, current, waves. No, that's not what I wanted. Temperature. All right, well, I've forgotten how to change this to where you can see the whole Earth on one map. On one map. And why am I not seeing it? I saw this the other day. We've done this before. Current wave. Nope, that's not it. That's not it. Nope. That was carbon dioxide. I didn't even know we could travel that. Nope, I don't like that. Oh, it's down here. There we go. Duh. The projection. Whew. You can move it around to see the whole Earth at once in multiple different ways, as you can see it in the globe. Or you can see it broken up into different shapes and to appear to the whole world at once. No, that's not the one I want. That's the one I want, right? Yeah, that's the one I want. And there you see, pretty much you can see the same thing. Here's the equator. And there's Dexter moving off to the northeast. And we see those fronts down here off of the coast of Africa. I'm sorry, off the coast of Australia with some slight winds. All right, let's get out of this map. So wasted too much time talking about it. All right, so we were talking about air quality earlier. This shows us the air quality currently. Well, Minneapolis, Chicago, where else? Over towards Detroit, Buffalo, you are right now code orange. So it's better than it has been, but it's not going to get much better. We're going to look at the fires here in a minute. That smoke's continuing down across the Great Lakes, all the way to New England and out the Atlantic coast. Colorado, right now, you have a code orange in, what city is this? In Goodland, Colby County. So over in Denver and Fort Collins, Greenlee area, you are also a code orange. There's one small section code red in there. Let's look at the NASA fire maps and take a look at it. We see all those fires up there in Canada. Just Canada is burning right now. It extends pretty much from the Great Lakes all the way back to Alaska. We have some wildfires burning in Washington, of course, California, I won't say the world's worst, but some bad ones in Colorado, Utah. We'll call it the world's worst. New Mexico, Phoenix down in there. The ones in the Grand Canyon are just out of control. All these little tiny dots indicate fires that have been suspected by reported, but they have not confirmed them. Let's look at the smoke map. I know that everybody is concerned about that. And we can look here and see, and the smoke from the fires in Canada is extended pretty much all the way over. It's covering most of Canada all the way to the east. It's pushing some smoke down across the Great Lakes into the Boston, New England area and back out to the northeast. And then the smoke from the fires in the United States, well, some of those fires, it's just sitting stagnant over Denver, the Four Corners area, and it's trying to push to the east, but it's not getting a lot of help right now from that front that's pushing down with the winds coming out of the north. But you can see all the I won't say all, most of the lower 48 is got either light or severe haze from the fires currently. Cities like Washington, Atlanta, all the way to Tallahassee, all of Florida are pretty much free of smoke. On the West Coast, looks like anywhere from the Sierra Nevadas down to the Baja and back to the west is pretty clear of smoke. Look at the particulate map real quick here. All right, so what we're seeing here, this map is our current air quality. And I think I figured out how to change it, so we'll take a look here in a second. But we can see those fires up in Canada. Gosh, that goes from a code red to a code purple, and that is just pushing out the smoke all over Canada, down through the lower 48. We see Australia, you have very little air quality to worry about. There's some smoke in Sydney from the wildfires and up in Darwin from all the wildfires there. But Alice Springs, you're pretty clear. The smoke from most of those fires is moving to the west, northwest, going out over Broome. And let's see, I think I learned how to change this yesterday. Yep, I sure did. All right, so we were talking about the world's worst air quality. I've moved it to the globe, and it gives you a much better picture. And it's first, let's see, Denmark. Let's see where the first United States city is. See full rankings. Worst cities currently with air quality. The first United States country is New York City. New York, you are 17 right now. Chicago, you are ranked number 20th. Detroit, 22. Los Angeles, 28. Let's see. I think that may be at Washington, D.C., ranked 43rd, 46 in Minneapolis. These are some of the worst air quality conditions in the world. Salt Lake City, you are ranked 65. And I'm going to go back through this here in just a minute. And Houston, 93rd, and I'll see if there are anything listed for Australia because we're running out of time today. Goodness gracious, I've talked all day. Portland, 121st. Seattle, 125. Sydney, you have 122 is your ranking in the world's worst, with Canberra and Melbourne respectively falling at 117 and 118. And let's see, that's probably going to be it for you guys. You all don't have the horrible air quality that we do here in the United States, which currently we can thank our Canadian neighbors for that. So, but unlike the president, they're trying to put them out, but I've talked about this before. I've really wondered if some of this isn't terrorism. And I mean that. Is somebody going around and starting all those fires? Because that's a lot of fires up in Canada. So, all right, well, there it is on the globe. We can look at the air quality. Of course, obviously green. Nothing is best. Green is okay. And then you start getting to yellows, oranges, reds, into the purples, and it gets even uglier. Volcanoes, the only one we've got to talk about is Kilauea. There was a volcano assessment issued, so be prepared if you live on the Big Island. There is a watch for the hurricane for the volcano. So be prepared if you're on the Big Island to take cover. Last earthquake. Let's see. Central Alaska was 20 minutes ago, 4.9. Guam, 4.7. And Southern California, 3.7. But that was almost 10 hours ago. So far, no rattling. New York City is still on edge after their earthquake of, was it 3.0 yesterday. So we don't have a lot of time to cover it, but this map just shows us pretty much, see Dexter going out to sea. This will be going out and forming a cyclone. Drop down to Australia, and we see all the earthquakes, Papua New Guinea, but really the only thing in Australia you have to worry about is the wildfires and smoke for you guys. So, but apparently, okay, so 8-3, thousands of pro-Palestinian protesters march across Sydney Harbor Bridge. Okay, that was 2 days ago. I didn't know about that one. All right, that's interesting. Pro-Palestinian people are marching in Sydney, and you have a drought, and that's an old one. All right, so we're out of here on time. We didn't get to cover really any of the other biological or epidemics other than what was in the news. We look there along the coast. I'm sorry, off of down through Mexico, South America, all the earthquakes, and up here in the, well, they're calling this the Ring of Fire, where all these volcanoes are, over into really off of the east coast of Russia. Let's see, real quick, New England Fire News. You can go there to New England Fire News and see if there's any large fires or anything reported. It looks like Brooklyn had a working fire with all hands. And where was that? That came in early this morning at 3:20 in the morning. It started as a transformer on fire in a high rise, and then it was reported to be a larger fire after that. And they've been working on that all day. We take a quick look at the military, which I really hate to because it's active right now like crazy. There's something going on out here on the west. A friend of mine tipped me off. They've been training a lot off of the coast and fueling up fighter jets off of the coast. So they're training off of the west coast. I didn't pull up the FAA warnings, but there's danger boxes all up and down the coast of California where the military is doing training. Also down into the Gulf of America, pretty much from Baton Rouge, Mobile, Pensacola, back over to Tallahassee. They're doing a lot of training there and up in the Northeast. Of course, Washington, D.C. is always busy, but they're doing a lot of training up there. Some of this activity you see is also ice. So I won't zoom in and give exact coordinates, but you can find it if you want by going to ABS Airwaves. Let's see, it was the officer on duty. And okay, so we've covered all that. All right, let's get out of here with Bit Defender. Everybody, I want to thank you for tuning in. I appreciate everything that you guys do. And I want to remind everybody,
buckle up for another wild ride. Bold takes, sharp commentary, no filters. It's Sportcat's Daily Gazette overnights, only on Dare Talk Radio.
That's right. You can find Sportcat here. You can also find me. Hey, it's the Boss Jock Sportcat here. I want to remind everybody you can find me from noon to 1400. Make sure to check me out here on the Thin Line Rock Station. I hope to see you soon here on the radio. There you go. There's a promo from Radio X Dare Talk. I got a couple others I'll play, and the other promo was from the Thin Line Rock Station, where I do lunch Tuesdays and Thursdays from noon till 1400 in a pre-recorded episode. I want to thank Radio X and Dare Talk Radio for allowing me to tickle your ears, as well as Yerg's Radio, Mastiff Media. Everybody have a great day. We're going to go out of here looking at the cyber attacks, and as always, the ones coming over to the U.S. are in red. Most of them look to be coming from Asia. All the yellows are infections. So be careful with the emails you open, or don't click any links. Just don't click any links. I had a friend that responded to a text, and, well, then his information was put on the dark web. So everybody have a great day. Thank you, everybody. And Brenda says she's coming to get me later. Okay, well, come on over, Brenda. You can know where to find me. Everybody have a great day. We will talk to you tomorrow. Make sure tonight to tune in at 9 p.m. Eastern. I'm not sure what time will be for you guys, but I will have my Paranormal show. I have two authors. One is they're both Canadian, but one is a Canadian Chinese author, and she's written books in 2 languages. So I'm looking forward to interviewing her. And then Doug, well, he's following up and going to talk about his time in a Texas prison, and now he is a counselor and psychologist. So he's got lots of great advice. Everybody take care. I'm out of here. I'm running over on time. Dare Talk Radio, Yerg's Radio, Massive Media. Thank you. Everybody remember to please hit that thumbs up button. Please like me. Please like me. Please subscribe, and I will see you soon. Sportcat is out.